Hi all, back with more Conflict to Heroes, solo mission 4 Partisans. This will be my part 8. Probably getting close to the end of this very messy solo mission. The Grant seems to have made multiple errors and yeah, just everything's kind of went wrong here. So I left things last night. I come in late from work last night and try to get I thought it was only going to be half a part, but I got carried away and we finished a part. Although we finished it on a sort of position where I wasn't sure. Okay, I clocked that 39 seconds before my first interruption. I suppose that just how life goes. Okay, so I came in last night late from work. I don't know if I've just said all this or not. I was only going to do a little bit. Ended up doing a whole part, and we got stuck with this at the end. And I think the main reason I got stuck with it was just too late at night and I was tired. I mean, I hadn't even had a drink. I just came in and it was like, to be honest, when I looked at the clock, was it no 1:45 in the morning or something? No, it was after 2 actually. But I didn't come in till back just before 1, I think, And I can't come in and just go straight to my bed. I need to wind down a little bit. I know some people can maybe do that, but not me. But I did do more than I had planned. However, that's not really relevant, Grant. So we came across this card, and it has been a very interesting one though. And I know without going too much over it again, but I kind of need to because I'm starting a new part here. Well, let's talk about the bit that kind of left me stumped, and I think this was just because I was tired and needed to go. Let's just say that this unit cannot make a low-risk move towards his closest unit. I then came into the thought, can he make a low-risk move to his next closest unit? And for some reason in my head, I was like, can I do that? Is that allowed? Should I not move on to the next order? And then I thought, but the back of my mind was saying, yeah, I think you can do that as long as you can make a low-risk move towards the next. Well, whatever AI is then next closest. Remember, this is only AI that can move. However, if this is 2 away and we have another AI down here that's maybe 3 away, then we wouldn't look for this 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at that, can't make the low-risk move. Then look at that, look at the same unit because it's 5 away. We would come down here and look at the other unit that was 3 away, However, there's no other unit. This is it. So he can, if he can't low-risk move towards that, he should then be able to look at his next closest unit to see if he can low-risk move. And I think where I got that from, I looked up, I had actually posted the question, and it was back in the last mission. Or was it? This is 4, isn't it? Was it mission 3 or 2? I can't remember which one it was. But I had a tank that was closest to a unit, and it couldn't do the low-risk move, or it was a move towards, but because where it was, there was woods round about it, so it couldn't do the move towards. So, but it could do a move towards its next closest unit. And I'd asked the question because I was doubting myself to think, well, if it can't do it to the closest unit, shouldn't we then consider another AI unit to move that's closer? And but I still felt it should have been that unit. And I think it was Lewis came back and answered. He said that he thought it was a bad move and he would move it in another hex. However, by the rules, he did say that I would move this unit towards the next closest unit if it could do it. So that's the same situation here. If this cannot low-risk move to that, and it can low-risk move to its next closest unit, it'll do that. I believe that's right. However, I'm now going to go back and revisit the possibility of this unit actually moving with a low-risk move. I think I'm going to do this. And I think this is an interesting one, and hopefully Hal's watching this bit, because I'm curious to know what his thoughts on this one are, because I think I'm going to move this unit as a low-risk move, and I'm not going to get closer to that unit. Let me just read you it now. The problem with this is This post was dated March the 6th, 2016. So 7+ years ago. And I just done a search for, what was it? Move towards flank, it was. Because I talked about it last night. Well, first of all, I know, I go over and over it, I know that. I know I do it. The movement hierarchy. Let's stop, Grant. Where can this unit move to? If it's going to low risk move towards that, it cannot stack, it cannot move into short range in his fire zone. So it cannot move there, it cannot move there. It cannot move there, that would be stacking. It cannot move there, it's getting further away. It cannot move there, it's getting further away. The only possible hex that it can move is here. Okay? So that kind of makes it slightly easier for me, because if I want to do any kind of movement with that guy at all, it has to be into that hex. Well, that's not true. He could move into here if he's doing other things. But while we're looking at this, the only hex that he can move towards, even if it wasn't low risk, no, that's not true. Because a normal move towards, he wouldn't care about moving into the short range. However, it's low risk, Grant, so that's the only hex it can move to. Okay, so what does that do? Does it get a fewer number of hexes away? No, it doesn't. It stays the same. It's not moving further away, but it stays the same. Is it moving away from a fire zone or not into a fire zone or whatever? No, it's not in a fire zone. That will not move it into a fire zone. Okay? Number 3. Move into the highest defensive modifier hex. Now, that's the one that was bothering me a little, because if I do make this move, he's moving from a +2 to a +1. However, I'm not seeing that as being something that it wouldn't do. If this was into a fire zone, I would say, yeah, I don't think it can do that. It's not though. Okay, so, and then moving on to the last one, the AI will move towards an enemy's flank, and then it's random. Then it's randomly. However, that's the movement hierarchy. That's not low risk. So, but as I explained last night in the last part, if this unit moves into there, he is kind of moving towards this unit's flank. And if we were to pass, and his next low risk move, he could actually move into there, towards the flank, because he wouldn't be able to move into there again, towards the flank. And then if we pass again, he then moves again, he cannot move into there, but a low risk move could then take him into there. And then he's in his flank, and he's at short range. So it's quite a good move. Okay, it's a move over 3 turns, but you can see what he's trying to achieve. You would maybe consider that yourself. I mean, you might go guns blazing and say yourself, you might sort of say, right, I'm going in there. As a lot of us probably would. I think I've done it, and we would take the chance with that. But then they've got to have different sort of instructions. They've got a move towards, which he would move into there. He would just go in guns blazing. But if it's a low risk, he wants, it's like you're sitting to yourself here, will I go in guns blazing? You know what, I'm going to be careful this turn. I'm going to go round the back and try and flank him. I know it's going to take longer, and by the time I get round there, things might have changed and it might be a waste of time. But sometimes you want to think that way. Maybe I should have been thinking that way. I've lost 2 units already in this game. So that is basically the only hex he can move towards, but I see that as moving towards the unit's flank. So if we look at the low risk side of it, it isn't in a fire zone, so it'll move into another non-fire zone hex. So that is legal. So we don't even need to look at step 2 there. That is a legal move for that as well. So to me, it's keeping within the low risk. Right, I'll try again. We got another 8 minutes in there again before the next interruption. There we go. It's yeah. Anyway, so again, where am I? It's totally took my. I think it's still staying out of the fire zone, isn't it? So I kind of think that's a legal move. Now, if you guys were Rule 42 in this, I think the only thing you could do is make a low risk move towards this unit, because I know you can't move into that hex, or that hex. That is breaking the rules. It's not. I mean, I suppose you could, you Rule 42, because if you were the player, then you would maybe do that. But then the player doesn't have a decision between a move and a low risk move. The AI does, and these are all illegal. Well, that's an illegal move. to be honest, never mind a low risk move, because they won't stack. But there's nothing to stop the player from stacking a unit if he wants to. It's just not a very clever idea. And that he wouldn't do, whereas as the player, you maybe would do. So I think I'm going to take this on. This part is a mess anyway. So let me know your thoughts on this. I'm going to low risk move now. Oh right, no, that was that, because I've got this thread up, which was back. Yeah, it's just all the distractions and that. It's like, here's more. Right. Clearly I should not have hit record this morning. Just trying to have a nice cup of coffee, sit and go over a little bit here. Well, I've got a little bit of time before I have to do some things. Right, so this thread back in 2016. So, and this quote was from the designer. Well, the question is from James from Scotland. James McMillan from Scotland. There we go. With regards to low risk move to odds, in a previous post from Gunter, he states. So this is a quote from the designer. Now, I know this is old and whatever, and I think this is probably before they redid the rule book from its original to kind of what it is now. It's not really changed. Oh, I give up. Okay, back again, here I am. Just waiting on the next phone call or text message or something. I'm not really this popular, but it seems I am this morning. Right, again, right, this quote from the designer, like I say, probably before the rules got redone. He says, in section 5.3, the rules, well, that definitely is the old rules, because in section 5.3, he talks about the rules for two odds. So let me zoom out here. This is my original book. So there's 5.3, and you know that 5.3 is now, it's different than what this is. It's set out as it's the AI hex movement hierarchy, whereas the original, it was AI movement orders. But just bear with me, because I'll get around to what he's saying. So he says in section 5.3, the rules for two odds say, and however, if we look at what is now 5.2, I'll get this up at the. This is my most up to date. You're going to get a bit glare there. This is 5.2, and this is what talks about the two odds, the definition of two odds. So they've kind of moved that to there and they've changed it about a bit and turned 5.3 into a better kind of thing. So, however, in section 5.3, the rules for two odds say the AI may sometimes move into a hex that is the same distance from a unit. Right? It says in some cases keeps the distance to the target the same. And then two odds never allows movement away from the target. Okay? So it says if a unit cannot low risk move into a hex that is closer, okay, it will move into a hex that is the same distance but closer to an enemy's flank if it can. There you go. This is the designer's word from back. I mean, there's a couple of talks within that two odds. It talks about moving towards the flank. It's one of the hierarchies. Okay, it's the last hierarchy is moving towards its flank. So, you know, I mean, it is something that they can do, but you've got to try and work out if that is the right move. And in this situation, I think it is, because I don't think, because the unit can't get any closer, it doesn't need to get out of a fire zone. It's not moving into a fire zone by moving in there. It's covering all the bases, and it's still bullet 4 in the movement hierarchy is to move towards the flank, and that's what he's doing. I mean, in actual fact, he only needs to move there to be in that unit's flank. So he moves there the first time. If he low risk moves again, if it was a normal movement, he would move straight into there, I think. But if it was a low risk move, he can move into there. He's then in his flank, and then he can he could fire from there actually. So, yeah, and then that's what he says. It carries on. If it can and cannot change its position. Sorry, this was it will move into the hex that is the same distance but closer to an enemy's flank if it can. If it can't and cannot change its position to a better one in any way, then it will stay put and you move on to the next order. Now he's saying there, moving on to the next order. I still believe that if he had another unit that was next, as close, well, that's 2 hexes away, anything that was 3 or 4 hex, any other move that he could make, I still think you would look at that. I'm pretty sure that's right. Because, if we were moving on to the next order here, it might end up that the AI would pass, possibly. No, it would execute mission orders, wouldn't it? Yeah, in fact, it would actually make a move towards. That would probably just move it straight into there. But I still think if it can't make this move, then it could still make it against this guy who's next closest. I wish that was somewhere clearer in some of that. I looked up to try and find if that was written somewhere. But my question before there, and what Lewis replied to, was if the unit couldn't move towards its closest unit, and it was then closest to the next closest unit, then it would move towards that if it could. That's the same thing here. So, okay, so I'm going to go with that after all that. I'm actually going to move that unit into there, as in it's moving towards the flank. It's not got closer. So, there we go. I hope that's a more interesting one, Hal, if you're watching, that shows that sometimes the unit, well, I suppose in that situation there was no way that the AI could move closer. So I suppose you probably would concede the fact that, yeah. But would you have done that because it's not moving any closer, or would you have moved towards this, or would you have not even have done that and moved on to the next order? I think that's right by going what I'm reading, because bullet 4 does say move towards the flank. I feel like that's what I'm doing. Maybe you totally see that as well and you agree that's possible. Okay, let's just move on and try and get this mission finished so that I can set it up and try it again. So that was that card done, and he'll check just on a 1. It was just Lightwoods that he moved into. So checks on a 1, gets the 4, he's good. I think we're done, aren't we? We're all burnt out. Yeah, and he's only got the RE left. Yeah, because that's what I said. If he gets a low-risk move order again, he's in there, then he's in there, and then he's having a pop at us. So it could happen. So we'll see. Maybe that'll happen, and that'll be interesting to see. Okay, so we pass, then they go. Right, track's moving on. VI plus units, less than or equal to 24. It definitely is. And there they go. They score again. So they're up to 5. And to be honest, we did kill a unit. We critically hit a unit and we shouldn't have done. So technically, they possibly should be on 6 victory points right now. So yeah, I definitely feel like we're not going to get anywhere with this one. So there's only 3 more ticks of the mission to end things. So what have we got here? Remember, it's only that RE that can do anything because this is a green card, so he's not hit. Can he fire at anything? That's the next 2 instructions. He cannot. There's nothing he can fire at. Oh well. Execute mission orders. Mission orders are AI furthest from unit or German control hex, which is none. Move towards. That's a shame. I would have liked to have seen the low risk move. So now he's going to move towards this guy. And the only hex he can move into is that, and because it's not a low risk, in he goes. And he's got 1 hex closer, he's in a DM hex as well, which wouldn't have mattered there. If that had been an open hex, he still would have moved into that hex. Because it's just a move towards. That's right, isn't it, guys? Yeah, pretty sure. So yeah, I would have liked to have kept the low risk move just to see if it happened, but however, it didn't, Grant. So that was a move on a 2 though, because he's moved back into the heavy woods. So we check on a 2 there, and he gets a 5. So he's still at it. So he's going to fire next time. We pass. So back to them. Draw a card. It's not blue, but it doesn't matter this time. So yeah, he's going to take take a shot on this time. He's the only unit that can do anything. He's at short range. The first instruction on the short range is to fire. Well, now we're going to see. Actually, you know what? When I was looking over, I noticed what was in the rumoured enemy cup, because there's only one counter left. And it's that. So after all this, well, actually, in actual fact, when he had moved adjacent, stop, Grant. We wouldn't have drawn that card yet. Put that card back. When he moved adjacent to us, we would have revealed this. So that might mean things are, and then he would have passed. So he wouldn't have getting to the point of taking that shot, because that would have happened in the last turn when he moved in there. Remember, we had already passed the previous. Oh no, but that's not him passing. I don't think that counts as passing. I made a comment on that in one of the parts. It was, because it was the same thing. It moved. The unit moved. The AI moved, and then he became revealed. It was a no enemy, and I took it away and I said, right, that's him. He'll pass. But that's not really. I don't think that counts as passing, because he's actually moved, and then we've checked him and found out he's a no enemy. So I don't think that counts as a pass. So I think we've got to have another shot for them. However, it's a green card anyway. So we pass, and then they draw that. It's a green card. They can't do anything. They pass. Oh, wait, your truck. I knew I would forget about that every time it moves. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, well, one more move in the timer and the truck's going to get off. I don't think there's anything that'll stop him, but that hardly saves it. It only gives us 1 victory point, and they're at 5. So yeah, let's get zoomed back out again. Right, so they passed. So hopefully this should finish things off. Right, I'm going to refresh your units. I'm going to get only 4 caps now, because we've got 2 units on the cap track up there. And I'll refresh your units and I'll shuffle the order deck. Okay, that's us. I want to say that I maybe missed a card draw the last time. Did I? You know what? Maybe I didn't. Maybe it was the Follow Me card that I drew. Part of me thinks that maybe when I moved on to that round there that I forgot to draw a card, but you know what? I'm just going to leave it. I might see it because I've not finished watching the end of part 6. I've not watched part 7. That was just last night. So if I do see that, I'll leave a comment. But like I say, this whole playthrough of this solo mission 4 has been a bit of a shambles, really. Right, so deck's shuffled up. We will draw an action card though. Battlefield Confusion. Mark is spent. Mark an enemy unit as spent. That's a good one, eh? So it costs 2. Can either be 2 AP or 2. See, now that one, how do you use the 2 action points? This is one of the ones that I think you could pick I could pick any one of my units to do a 2 AP cost spent check. Let me just look at that in the book. Battlefield Confusion. It says flip any one unit to its spent side. The affected unit may no longer activate or use APs for the remainder of the round. It may use caps and cards. Well, remember, this is the 2-player side of it, so it's kind of different. This card may not be played on a group or off-board units, but may be played on hidden units. Right, it doesn't really explain that. See, it says at the top, cards paid for with APs must be played on the activated unit or group that paid for it. Well, that doesn't really... If I want to spend a unit, I'm not going to spend the unit that I'm using. You know, the whole point is... Well, it says flip any one enemy unit, so it doesn't even suggest that... So that is one of the ones that I think I've read, and it's maybe written somewhere else, that I could pick this unit, or any one of my units that are not spent, do a 2 AP cost check on them, play this card, and mark any enemy unit spent, doesn't matter which one, and then do the spent check on the unit that I used to do it. That's how I think that works. although it wasn't really very clear. And then the one before that we were trying to do the follow me, because it was a rally, I would have had to done it on that unit, the unit that needs the rally. So that's the difference between the two, I think that's right. Okay, so we're drawing a card, and we need initiative roll. Yeah, it is important, isn't it? Because this guy's going to fire at this guy. In fact, we've got this as well, haven't we? So we've got two situations. Right, okay, well, I'm going to use 2 caps then, am I? Oh, it takes me down to 2. Yeah, you know what? I just want to get this done. So I'm going to use 2 caps. It's not that I've not enjoyed this. I know I want to do it again. So that's not why I'm rushing to finish or anything like that. I'm just right. So we need a 6 or better for initiative. Oh dear. So a complete waste of 2 caps there. Oops. Right, making a mess of things. So it's going to be the AI's initiative. So one of them are going to fire on us. Which one we will find out in a second. And we will draw a card first to see. Okay, here we go. Right, so look at this, disengage. How about that? So that's kind of lucky then, Grant, isn't it? So they're going to disengage before they fire. So if they can disengage, they're not going to fire. Okay, I'm going to have to check this again. So we've got 2 situations at short range. Nothing at close combat. We've got this guy looking at that, and we've got this guy looking at that. So I'm going to have to remind myself about disengage. Again, it's going to be short range. Disengage. The AI will low risk move. Right, first of all, we need to know which one is going to do it. The thing is, if one of them can't do it for some reason, then we'd look at the other one to disengage rather than look at fire. I think that could be wrong, Grant. No, I think you've maybe got that wrong. What do you think there, guys? If I randomize, well, it's maybe not randomize. If I decide that this is the AI and it can't disengage for whatever reason, then will it then fire? Or will we look at the other unit to see if it can disengage? I think we'll fire, won't we? Right, let's find the AI first. So there's 2 that are equally close. So what have we got? No, that's movement. So we're talking about, we're talking about movement because we're trying to disengage. So if more than one eligible AI is equally distant to a target, then execute a move order with unhit AI, then lowest cost to move. So it's just going to be a randomization between the 2, isn't it? So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Let's get our target first. I've rolled a 3, so it's the guy up top. So can he low risk move? I want to say probably neither of them can low risk move. I'm looking down at the other guys because he'll not low risk move into close combat. He'll not low risk move into short range in his fire zone, and he'll not move away. No, he cannot low risk move, and he doesn't mean if he was facing the other way, he would pivot. Yes, so he cannot low risk move. And just looking at this guy just to see if he could, but I think we now just move on to the fire order there. Again, he'll not move into there or there, and he'll not move into there. No, they can't. I think that disengages. Well, if we were in his flank, we would maybe disengage. It'd be easier to do it. Is it low risk? Disengage. Is it low risk move towards though? Yeah, let's read it. The AI, this is disengage. The AI will low risk move. It doesn't really say towards, but that's what low risk move's all about. I want to say that it's still not going to move further away. Okay, he's unlikely to get closer when he's at short. Well, when he's at short range, he can't get closer because that means going into close combat, and they won't do that. Well, they won't do that on a low risk move. This could include moving into an enemy's flank or towards cover. The first priority is trying to decrease the AI's risk, then moving towards a mission objective. Okay, let's revisit that one then. To be honest, I'm saying he can't move into there. He can't move into there. Well, he can. He can't, can he? I think it's maybe. See if this guy was here, then he could then disengage into here. You know, because then he's moving at his flank, he's moving out of the fire zone. It means this guy can't fire at him. He's got to then pivot. So I think it's for a situation like that. But because he's facing head on, however, does that not mean this guy could low risk move into there? Well, I don't think so. Because again, it does say, for low risk moves, they will not move into opponent's short range fire zone. So, although he's in a short range fire zone, it does say he'll not move into a short range fire zone. And even though that's better cover, he wouldn't do it. So, I don't think that's a disengaged situation either. And then, if it was him that we selected, we would move on to the next one, fire. I've been on pause there for quite a bit, and so I had to cut that part of the video to watch back to find out where I was, because I just left things. I wasn't sort of organised when I left, so I was just double checking where we are. Yeah, we were talking about the disengage part, and then the fact that this can't disengage, and we worked out this one can't disengage either. It's not. Because even moving it there is still in his fire zone, so no. And I think I explained the situation where maybe he could disengage if they were able to get into their flank. So you can see a reason for that. However, they cannot disengage. So we decided we randomised between the two units. Because the instruction is just fire. Well, it was just disengage. None of them can do that. So we're going to stick with the unit that we randomised to, and he's going to fire. So I think that's how that would work. And I'm, again, going back to the possibility, say the other unit could disengage. I think once we've randomised between the two, then we're looking at disengage. See, I'm not 100% sure about that one, I have to say. If this unit could have disengaged and this one couldn't, shouldn't we be picking that one rather than randomising? I think probably you should, shouldn't you? I mean, fortunately, it's not going to happen here, but that's an interesting question. I would think that was the case, though, because that is the instruction on the left. That is the first instruction. We've got two units in short range that we can look at for the instruction, and it's disengage. However, none of them can do it. So I don't think we would have been randomising first. Now, then we'd move on to fire. And I think once we found out, well, both of them can do that, then we would randomise or select whatever was appropriate. But on this occasion, well, actually, no, that's not true. Stop a minute. Because when we were looking at disengage, the eligible AI move hierarchy, which is 5.2.1, which is what disengage would be doing, it'd be a low risk moving. If more than one eligible AI is equally distant to a target, then execute a move order with unhit AI before hit AI, then AI with the lowest cost to move, then randomly. So we looked at that, and that's the one that we randomised. However, I think we should have looked at both of them, found out they both can't disengage, then move on to the fire action. And now we're going to look at a different hierarchy. We're going to look at the eligible AI attack hierarchy, which is 5.1.1. And that says if more than one eligible AI is equally distant to a target, then execute an attack order with an unhit AI before a hit one. So none of them are hit. The AI with the highest attack rating right? Include any height bonus modifiers, hit counters, etc. And then obviously, and then it carries on. Because rumoured enemy have no AR of their own, eligible AI have hierarchy over eligible RE. So has any one of them got the highest? Well, you see, this guy's got an attack rating of 3. This guy's got an attack rating of 4. So there you go. So in actual fact, yeah, I think that's how we should look at that. But that is quite tricky. Because initially you're looking to disengage, you're checking them both, you can't pick between them both, so you randomise. I randomise to that guy. We then find out that then he can't disengage, so then we carry on with fire, and we're ignoring this guy. So I think what I've just done there is probably the proper way to do it. We look at them both, check to see if either of them can disengage. Now, if they could both disengage, we would randomise between them, or select with the eligible AI move hierarchy. And if they both couldn't, we would do this. No, we wouldn't do the same. If they both couldn't disengage, we would then move on to the next instruction, fire, and then again, both of these units could fire. So then we've got to break it down, and then we move to the eligible AI attack hierarchy 5.1.1. We find out that this guy's got the highest attack rating, so he's the one that's going to carry out the attack. Yeah, I'm going to stick with that one. But you could see how that was a little bit tricky to maybe come to that. However, maybe just me again. Maybe yous would have breezed through that. So he's going to attack with 4, but he's got a +3. We're being short range. So I mean, it's 7 against 12. So I think the other attack, looking at it here, he's in the light woods. The other attack would have been 6 against 13. So he would have needed a 7 to hit, whereas he's only needing a 5, isn't he? Kind of makes sense as well. Probably the attack you would have done yourself, maybe. Well, this is a stronger unit. This is a better unit for us, whereas this is a weaker unit. So maybe if you're looking at it yourself, you might sort of say, well, I'd rather try and take out the Pioneers. However, the AI's got to have some kind of guidelines to follow. It's using this. So it's 7 against 12. He needs a 5 to hit. So let's just get that rolled and see what happens. Ooh, well, that was mean. He only needed a 9 to take us right out, but he has got the hit, so it's bad enough. So a hit to the rifle unit here. Shuffle. And we've got a pinned, so he can't move. He's got a rally on a 7, but we're all just getting shot up, aren't we? Right, okay, so after all that, he is going to check on a 3 because he did fire. That was his cost. He's pulled a 5, so he's still good. Right, okay, so back to us. So, yeah, well, I mean, at least this guy could still attack. Yeah, I would have liked that guy to have been spent, really, wouldn't I? I think we probably want to maybe try and take this attack on, but he's in the heavy woods, remember, so he's 14, and we'd be attacking with 7 against 14, which is a 7. We do have 2 caps. Yeah, just looking at that battlefield confusion card that we've got as well, though, but you know, to mark when he's spent. But the fact that there's 2 of them, if we mark this guy's spent, then that's our turnover, and this guy's going to fire. So we can't do both things at once. So I think we should take the shot on. So I think I'm going to take this attack on, and I think I'm going to use the caps into it. So that would be 7 against 12 plus 2 is 14. We would need a 7, like I say. Yeah, I'm going to use my last 2 caps. Going out in a blaze of glory. So that is a 9 against a 14. So we need a 5 for a hit, and it's a 9 for a critical hit, Grant. Remember, plus 4. So 5 for a hit, 9 for a critical hit. There we go. Oh, come on. Oof, just. Well, just as well we spent our caps. It was a rather poor roll. Okay, but we did get the hit, though, so he gets a hit marker, and let's escape face down. There we go. And then, good thing about that guy, I think he's only got a check on a 2, isn't he? Yeah, Pioneers check on a 2, see if he's spent, and he draws a 3, so that's good. Right, so back over to them. So they do have 2 fresh units that are in short range, so more than likely that's going to happen. FAI plus units less than or equal to 4. No, we've got more than that. Short range fire, right, so there's no messing about with this one, it's just a straight up fire. So again, between the two, right, there's a slight issue here then, isn't there? Because we've got 2 short range situations. So we need to look at, like I said before, 5.11 it is, 5.1.1, eligible AI attack hierarchy. If more than one eligible AI is equally distant, execute the attack order with an unhit AI before a hit AI. Oh, there you go then. That's it, it's resolved. Sorry, my bad. What I was thinking there was how we're going to know if his attack rating is a 3, because we would need to look at this. But there you go, the first bullet determines that this is going to be the unit to attack, because that other guy's hit. So they'll use the unhit AI before the hit AI. Kind of makes sense as well. So and then this is a better attack from, isn't it? So this time again, the pin doesn't have any effect. He is not in any defense modified hex, so it's going to be 7 against 12 again. And this time this is to take the guy out, so he only needs a 5. And there we go. We actually got the critical hit that time. So another one bites the dust, I'm afraid. So that goes back in the cut. That goes on the cap track. We've got 3 caps left. Now this is what I was saying about the new... However, Grant, you're not using the new rules, so there you go. So you can forget about that one too. Within the new rules, because the new rules introduced this cap system, and the old rules, the old 2-player rules didn't have that. The new rules say that you can never go below 3 caps. So if I got another German unit hit and it went there, I would still be able to get 3 caps. However, that is new edition rules, so we're going to stick with how it played. So if I was to get hit again and go into a new round, I would only get 2 caps, because I don't recall that being in the solo rules at all, saying that you've got to have a minimum of 3. I think I would have remembered that one. However, anything else? Oh yeah, another victory point. Yeah, this is game over, isn't it? This is just we're just getting wiped out. We might get the truck might get off the map maybe, but yeah, there's nothing really to stop it. Well, unless we lose our 2 units before it gets to move again, which isn't an impossibility, I suppose. Right, so that was him, and he's going to take a check on a 3 because he fired. And this time he has spent. So, but he's done pretty well, to be honest. Right, so back to us. Well, we're going to try and take that guy out with the Pioneers. So we're going to take a shot on this. I've no caps. Yeah, I was thinking back again about this one, about when we get to see this hit marker. I'm pretty sure as soon as we decide to fire, I think I talked about this one before. I think I can look at that hit marker before I decide to commit caps and play any cards. But I'm not 100% sure of it. However, I've no cards that are going to be relevant to this, and I've no caps anyway. I think when that comes up again, I might look more into that. Maybe try and find the answer if the question's out there, or put the question out there if it's not. So, yeah, so we're going to attack, and we're attacking with 7 against, well, it should be 14, however, we need to see what this is. Right, so he's pinned the same as our guy was. Yeah, well, he's gone now, Grant, anyway. So, yeah, it doesn't affect anything, doesn't mean he can't move. So 7 against 14, yeah, so we need a 7, but he is hit, so it's just the 7 to take him out. If Come on, let's see if we can get some revenge. Oh, we cannot. Poor dice rolls for our ones. We only just managed that the last time. Okay, so nothing doing. We take a check on a 2. We get a 5, so it's still okay. That was a command order card. However, it is back to them. And although he's hit, he can fire, so it's more than likely. Well, the track's going to move. Oh, we're going to get a victory point. However, what is this? Vodka. Oh, come on. No. No, that's not fair. Vodka. AI hit. A hit AI closest to unit auto rallies. So this guy's going to auto rally. So he's not pinned anymore. And there's no mention of that being the action for the turn. Which, does it say in this mission? No. Because in previous missions, I want to say maybe just the one before this. Yeah. These events, bogged down as AI action, we would do this. Battlefield Confusion as AI action. Of course, these are representing cards. Bogged down is a card. Battlefield Confusion, well, we've got that card in our hand. There, it's there. So that represents a card, which, if we were to use it, it would cost us an action. Swift action is a card as well, but that's a bit different because it allows 2 actions. So you perform that action and then the next one. Just to compare the difference between that and this vodka, because it doesn't say that it just looks like it's an extra event and they're just to mess about with us. So not only are they going to auto rally, they're then going to, well, before we move any further, this will move 1, 2, 3. And you can't have half hexes, so that's off the board. So we get a victory point for getting a truck. That was correct, wasn't it? Yeah, 1 victory point, immediately score for each truck that safely exits the map. So we get 1 back. Not going to matter, I don't think. Well, that's not. I mean, what have they got? 1, 2, 3, 4 units left. Yeah, we can't even win. Actually, if we took that and eliminated all 4 of their units, then I think we would win by 1 point. It's not going to happen, right? Okay, so back to the card. And we've got short range, so he's going to fire. So this guy's going to fire. Remember, he's not hit anymore. Not that hit mark. Can you imagine if that hit marker mattered as well? If you couldn't fire, what was the one we had? Stunned. Imagine if it was stunned, then we thought, well, at least he can't fire. Then we get that event, the vodka event, to rally him, and then he fires. Oh, it was bad enough. That would have been salt to the wounds, wouldn't it? Anyway, 3, so he's 6 against 12 plus 1, 13, because he's in Lightwoods. 6 against 13, so as a 7 required again. Zoom back out there. Needs a 7. No, it's a 2. Yes. 6. So we're okay. Just. So we get away with that one. The good thing about him is, well, from our point of view, it's a 4 for him to check. So I'd like to think he's spent. He draws a 3 and a command card. So that guy's spent. It is back to us again. Well, yeah, we've got to just go for him. He's spent now, so yeah, I'm going to attack again. So again, it's 4 plus 3 is 7. 7 against 14, isn't it? Yeah, we need a 7. We've no cards anyway. 7 against 14. Need a 7 or an 11, even better. Oh, come on. What's happening to the dice? So, rubbish again. We check on a 2 for him. He's got a 4, so he's still in the game. Back to them. Tracks moving again, and I think it should be a fair plus units less than equal to 10. Well, there's no trucks anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's going to move +1. Nothing happening, but one more move and it's game over. So it's just a matter of time now, isn't it? Oh no short range because he's spent now. Fresh EIOS and fresh units. That might be the case. No, it's 2 and 2. They've got 2 and we've got 2. So it's not less than. Right, can they fire? Yeah, this guy can actually fire on that. So this machine gun cannot fire. Remember, we've only got the 2 units. That guy and that guy. Machine gun can't fire at that. That can fire at that. So we can have a look at that. So what was it? Let's oops, zoom in a little bit there. Highest firepower AI closest to a fresh unit that just... Well, fortunately, that was the unit that just acted. So that works as well. Because he just fired, didn't he? Yeah, that's right. Highest firepower AI closest to... Yeah, so it doesn't matter about the firepower because he is the only one that can shoot. He's going to fire +1 caps if the numbers are right. So it'll be 3 +1 caps is 4 against 12 +1 is 13. 4 against 13, that's a 9, isn't it? Yeah, 9. So a 9 to hit here. Yeah. Oh, another poor roll. Okay. I can't believe the rain's on again. It was a nice day, and it was nice and windy and sunny, and I've done some washing, put it out, and it's just... I've had 2 horrible showers. I don't think there's any point trying to save it, to be honest. Scottish weather just doesn't work well. Right, so I paused there and what? Yeah, we took the shot, didn't we? Yeah, he rolled a 3, so it was poor. So spent check on him will be a 4. There's a 3, so that's him. Spent, well, that would have finished the game, that card. So that's him spent. So they've only got 1 fresh unit, the machine gun. We'll take the shot on again. So what they're zooming in there, we need 7, I think, isn't it? It was 7 against 14. Yes, we need a 7. That was a 5 there. So no again. So spent check on a 2. And there we go, we're spent. Right, well, we should get this finished off, surely. We just need 1 more tick on the mission. Right, so back to them. Hopefully it's not going to be a blue card. But we've got 1 unit left each fresh. What if this? He's pinned, he can't move. Oh! So he needs to try and rally, doesn't he? Yeah. Okay, so back to them anyway. It's not blue. So they've all got that 1 unit. And he cannot fire at anything. And remember, he can't move into 0 DM hex. So he can't move that way. So no. Can't fire. Unhit AI closest to a unit that just acted. Unit just acted is this one. He's the unhit AI, and obviously the only AI that we've got left that can do anything with a green card. Move towards. Well, it makes sense because this guy can't come out in the open anyway. So it's kind of logical that he should try and... He's going to have to back up. Now, this is a straightforward move towards... Well, he does want to still stay out of a fire zone if he can, Grant. Thing is, he's not going to be able to get any closer because he's 2 away. This would be 2 away in heavy woods. This would be 2 away in heavy woods.
Could you consider him heading towards the unit's flank if he'd done that? I mean, just by pivoting alone, it's going to... This would put him in his fire zone, which he doesn't want to do, but then it would mean he would have a shot next turn. So I'm going to say he's not going to go into fire zone if just without looking at the movement stuff. He's not going to improve hex-wise. That would be into a fire zone, so that would not. So my thinking as he goes into that, it's going to cost him 2 to move, 1 to reverse, and 1 into the... So it's going to be a check on a 4 that, which seems a bit weak. But remember, he can't move into a 0 DMS, so he can't start coming this way. And this is the unit that, well, not only the closest unit, but the unit that just acted. So he's got to respond to that one. So yeah, I'm going to do that with him. So it's a check on a 4 though, to see if he's spent. So let's see what we get. And he gets a 1, and a blue card too. So that's him spent. We're not going to get into another round here, are we? Well, we might, actually. Because I'm going to have to rally. I can't do anything. So back to me. Right, we will... I forgot about the battlefield confusion. Well, it's no good to me now. Everybody's spent. Right, I'm going to attempt to rally. It's a 7, but he's in cover. So it's going to be a 6 or 6 or better to remove the pin marker. Ooh, and we win that one in style. Could have done with that a couple of times recently. However, it does that, but the downside now is we've got to check on a 5 for the rally. So unless we draw a 6 here, it's that's going to be the mission pretty much done. And we draw a 5 again. Did I not do that the last time I rallied? I drew a 5 as well. So he is spent. However, there could be one more chance for them because they still get to draw a card, and it could be blue. It is not. Yeah, plus units less than or equal to 4. It is not. So they can't do nothing. They have to pass, and we have to pass. So it's going to move into another round. I'm just going to push on because this won't last much longer. So I'll reset the units. We'll get our caps. Well, we'll only get 3 caps back. We will get another card, which we'll just draw now. Rally up. Attempt to rally a unit not in close combat. So that's not an auto one, but it does cost 0 to do it. So I'll refresh the units and I'll shuffle the order deck. Well, that's me just shuffling things up. Remember, the mission track has only one more step to go. They're on 5 points, so pretty sure it's it's almost important. I think it's still possible, but like I say, I think we need to take out their 4 units and take that control marker back before that mission moves on. The mission track moves on 1 more space, so I think that would be a miracle. Right, do we want... Well, we do have some... you know what? I think I'll maybe just try and keep my caps this time. Well, hold on. I'll spend 1 cap. I've got 3 caps. I'll spend 1 cap into the initiative roll. So rather than an 8, we need a 7 for initiative. 9, so that was a waste of a cap. However, you never can tell, can you? It did make it slightly easier for us. Right, so we've got an initiative. We are going to take this attack on. It's going to be 7 against 14 again. Do we take the caps? Yeah, we do. We use the caps. So 9 against 14, we need a 5, or better still, a 9. Right, 7, so it's in between. So at least we get the hit, but not the critical hit. Okay, shuffle. This goes upside down. Yep. There we go. Right, so back to... No, spent check, Grant. So we check on a 2. Oops, sorry. That's him hit. We check on a 2. We get a 5. So all good. Right, back to them. Well, there you go. First short range instruction is going to be rally. So he's going to attempt to rally if he can. I think all the infantry counters have a rally number, but could be a killed in action possibly. So he's going to attempt to rally. He's the only one at short range. So what does he have? He does have a rally marker, so it's a 7 or greater. He is in cover, so it'll be a 6 or greater to remove that. And he's failed at the rally attempt. So that is good for us, because that's his action. He never even got a shot on us. So he stays hit. And he's got to check on a 5 to be spent as well. This is a good start for us. Well, assuming we can draw that 5. Draw not a 6 anyway. So he draws a 4 for his spent check. So he's spent as well. Still hit. Us attacking him doesn't affect his defense. Suppress marker. So it's back to us. We're going to try and finish him off. 7 against 14 though. So no caps left. We need a 7 to take him out. Yes, 8. Right, so something happening. No, maybe. No, let's not get too carried away. So we take that guy out. We'll throw him on the floor. That goes back in the cup. We get ourselves a victory point, so it takes him back down to 4 now. We remove the next command card from the game, and we shuffle the deck up, and we check to see if that guy is spent on a 2. And we're hoping that's not going to be the case, because then he could move on and find other targets. Right, shuffle. Cut. And draw, check on a 2. That's a big 6, so we're alright. Oh, that would have ended the game as well. I can't see myself surviving the mission track though, even if I can survive spent checks. So back to the AI, nothing at short range, close combat, so we draw. So what's happening here? What can fire? He's looking to fire first. This guy can fire. That's it, isn't it? This can't be fired upon by anybody, and he can't fire at that because that's through the wood. So it's only that one that can fire. So fresh unit had just acted. Unhit AI closest to a fresh unit had just acted. Well, that is the fresh unit and the one that just acted, so that works. Fire even if long range. It's not long range. He's going to add a cap as well, so +1 caps. So it was. Oops, I've put the zoom away. We're still recording, Grant. That's an important bit. Right, yeah. That's me up to about an hour as well, because I checked, I was 30 minutes or so. So he's 3 +1 caps, 4 against 12 +1's 14. Sorry, 12 +1's 13, Grant. So 4 against 13, yeah, it's a 9, because I seem to remember it being a 9 the last time and we'd had the caps. So a 9, take this shot on. Oh, that was almost a 1 and it rolled off. Yeah, right, crap. That's what dice do, they roll about a bit. Just bang on the 9 though. So that's a hit. That's annoying. Right, shuffle. We'll take that one there. We get to see it straight away. Panicked, that's not good. So what we can move, that affects his frontal defence, so he can't attack. Yeah, that's not good. Well, I don't think any would have been good. Right, okay. Right, he fired with a check on a 4, so here we go. He draws a 3, that's him spent. So what do we do now? He's not in cover, but remember, he's also not spent. Oh, hang on, rally. Attempt to rally unit not in close combat. I should use this, because this costs 0 to do it. So I'm not doing the check on a 5. That's right, isn't it? Yeah. Right, so I'm going to do this, and he's in cover. He is in cover. He's in Whitewoods. Yeah, I'm going to attempt to rally this guy. He's not in close combat, and he's in the Whitewoods. It would be an 8, so it's a 7 because of the Whitewoods. We're going to use that card to do it, so get rid of that card. So I don't need to check this. It's a freebie. We ruined a 7. Yeah, I have no caps. Could have done my caps for this one. Right, come on, give me a 7. Yes, an 8. Good. So we do get the rally. Remember, it was a free, so we don't need to check. However, that's back to them now. Over the eye, every draw of the card. Oh, if the eye plus units less than or equal to 4. Well, it's getting close. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 5. So one more goes, and these 4 ones count. Is there not some that have 6? I want to say there's some that might have 6. If we draw any of them, that's going to be curtains as well. But the thing is, I need to try and take the units out to have a chance of winning. I also need this control marker though. So, right. So nothing short range, nothing close combat. Counter actions, no, can't do that. There's no hit AI. AI closest to a target, low-risk move towards. Well, we've got two options here. He's 1-2 away. He's 1-2 away. Well, rather than randomise them, I think what you need to do first is find out if one of them, if they can both make a low-risk move. I get the feeling this guy can't, because he's not in a fire zone. He can't move into there because that's short-range fire zone. He'd be moving into a fire zone there, not getting closer. This one, he would be moving into no cover, but not getting closer either. So without, then again, yeah, here we go again though. Could this be considered to be moving towards this unit's flank? Remember, he's not in any cover. Is that a low risk move? It's not getting closer, it's not entering any cover. However, it is moving towards the unit's flank. Well, you done it the last time, Grant. I'm going to stick by my guns with this one and say that is a valid move. But yeah, these are. I still feel more unsure about these than maybe some of the things I was talking about before. I think I've come to terms with what the guys were saying before, but it would mean this guy could not make a low risk move at all. I think that's a valid hex for him to move into. And I also feel like, see if this had been a cover hex, I still feel that would be a valid move. Because he's not in a fire zone, he moves to another non-fire zone hex. Because the thing with this one is, he cannot move into a fire zone hex as a DM, because that would be there. So this situation, but it specifically says that they will not move into close short range in a unit's fire zone. So yeah, I think there's something to be said for that. And maybe that's why it's a little bit unclear. Maybe that's another question that needs to be looked at and answered and dealt with. And not just Rule 42, I don't want that. I want, by all means, you can move it where you want, but I want to know if the rules would allow it. That's, I think they would, because there is talk, the AI will move towards an enemy's flank. That is moving towards his flank. Next low risk move, okay, he can't move into there, he would move into there, but that's moving towards his flank, because as soon as he moves into there, he's then in the unit's flank. So that is what moving towards the unit's flank is. It's going round the back of him. Okay, right. Calm down, Grant. Calm down. Right. So I'm saying he could make a low risk move. So could this guy? Well, again, he can't move in there. Can't move in there. Well, can he go round the back? Yeah, I don't see why not. Yeah, because in actual fact, he's only got one. As soon as he moves in there, he's in his flank, isn't he? Because yeah, I talked about that. We've already turned him round. He moved into there. So I think this guy's move is into there. Staying out the fire zone. He's actually staying in some cover. It's light cover rather than the heavy cover, but he's moving towards the unit's flank. Remember, he cannot move into these 2 hexes, so he cannot physically get closer to that unit, because that would be breaking the rules, moving into short range and the unit's fire zone. Right. Okay. Right, I'm going to say they can both do it then, and we're both going to make flank moves. So how do we decide it's hit before unhit and all that, innit? No, that's 5.2.1, eligible AI move hierarchy. Unhit AI before hit, lowest cost to move. Stop. That costs 2 to move, so that's why that guy wins. Yeah, because he's got the 2 costs to move, the machine gun. So this guy wins. Lowest moves, not in a fire zone. He would be moving into a fire zone there. That's an illegal move there. That's the only hex that would get him closer to that, but it's illegal. That's the only other hex that he can move to. I think it's a valid hex. I'm going for it. He's moving around the flank. We're going for it. I'm going to check on a 1. Well, I mean, what else you do? If you guys don't think that's an allowable move, then you would pass that action, because that would be the same, wouldn't it? And you would have to move on to the next action, I suppose. Which is fire, they can't fire at anything, and then they would pass. So, on that occasion, they would pass, but I don't know. Seems fine. It seems fine to me, but again, maybe it could be cleared up. Unless of course, you guys are all quite happy with that and think that that's a perfectly valid move. Okay, checking a 1 for him. That's a 3. He's good. Back to us. Right. Yeah, we could have done with him getting spent, couldn't we? Right, he's in the heavy woods. Well, we've got to take chances, I think. So, we're not going to be doing any low risk moving. We're just going to be moving in. Now, that's going to be a check on a 2 moving in there, mind Grant. But then we would have an attack of 7 against 14 again. It's just the same, isn't it? Yeah, I think I'm just going to do it. So I'm going to move in there. However, I don't want to, if he's going to have a chance, I'm going to turn towards him, because I know now that if I keep my facing that way, I can shoot him next turn. But if he gets a low, well, hang on, he's going to fire at you before he's going to move, Grant. It's fine though. I can move that way into that hex, and that's up the road anyway. So I will turn my facing towards him there. And because we move from not on the road there, it's an extra +1 for moving into heavy woods, even though it's on the road. We didn't move from a road. So my take on that is we add a +1. So the check is on a 2. This is a big one. Oh, we get a 3 and a blue card. Yes. Right, back to the more than likely this machine gun's going to fire, but we have to take chances. So here we go. No movement on the track. So short range fire, yes. So he's going to fire with... Oh, that's the... Oh, I should go into close combat. Because see, these are in white boxes. They get negatives to that. It's bad for... They don't want to be in close combat. But, well, let's see how this happens. If he gets spent, I might well move into hex. Then again, it's costing me 2 to move in with a chance of being spent. Right, he's going to fire with an attack rating of 3, +3 for short range is 6 against 12, 14. 6 against 14 is an 8 he needs. So, let's see what we got. Oh, bang on. No. Oh, that could spoil things. We are hit. We've got to draw a hit marker. We draw. Oh, suppressed. That's messed their fire up, isn't it? Damn. Nah, it's probably put things to... Because now I'd be attacking with 2 plus 5. It'd be 5 against 14. Yuck. Right, okay, so he attacked. It cost him 3 attacks. So check on a 3. He has spent some 1. Yeah, what's the numbers? I think it doesn't affect us attacking him. Close combat, I want to look at. It's not telling me in close combat. Maybe the main rules for that one. Give me a sec. Yeah, okay, I'll hunt into that for a while. 7.7.3 on page 9. Same hex in close combat. The attack rating of units in CC are modified as follows. -2 attack rating penalty for attack rating values over a white box. And then we have +4 attack rating bonus for all other units. So in close combat, if he was to attack us, he would get a -2 to that 3. So he would only be attacking us with 1 in close combat, whereas we would be attacking him with 4 plus a 4, 8. Well, I say 4 plus a 4, we've got a -2 there. That isn't affecting our movement. I feel like I want to move in there. Well, if you move in, what's your attack going to be? It's going to be... Mind you, you're going to get his flank. You're going to get attack at his flank. It's going to be 2 plus 4, 6 against 10, 12. 6 against 12, that's better. And the chances I'm attacking you back. Right, I'm going to move in. So it's going to cost me 2 to move into close combat. I'm also going to turn my face in that way. So check on a 2. This is kind of big. We get a 6. We get away with it. So normally I wouldn't want a blue card here, but his attack's that poor that it's maybe fine. So here we go. Over to them. There we go. That's it. There are ones with 6. So if AI plus units less than or equal to 6, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Track moves twice. It only needs to move once. They score again because they've got the control marker, and the Soviets comfortably win with 5 victory points. And that's even with me making so many mistakes. Took a unit out that I shouldn't have. The mission track should have moved on once at one point. There was lots of other mistakes in this playthrough. Yeah, probably the worst that I've had for one that likes to keep the mistakes to a minimum, and yeah, that was kind of poor. Okay, well, let's kind of wrap this up kind of quick because I do have a lot more time and I want to try it again, so I want to start again. I don't feel like I'm quite ready for the campaign yet anyway, so yeah, I feel like another shot of it. And you know what, you can see the playthroughs out there. You can watch the first one if you want. It's still quite an interesting playthrough, I think. I have highlighted on the mistakes, so at least you know they're there. Hopefully I can play this again and not have these mistakes, but we shall see, right? I'm just resetting things as we go there. It shouldn't take me long to reset this because most of everything's still lying around, you know, and I know I've got the right cards and whatever. Just trying the caps, they are 6. We start with that. That goes back to 1. Right, okay. Right, well, yeah, but we got through to the end anyway, so I've recorded all, and that's that. So, but yeah, well, it didn't matter about putting an asterisk on it because we actually got thumped, didn't we? We got beaten by 5 victory points. So up to now, although, yeah, there's yeah, well, I've already said there's that many errors in this one. But up to now, I won the first scenario quite comfortably, which is just really a training one to get you into it. And I've now lost 2, 3, and 4, haven't I? I did lose. The second one, was the second one the big one? No, the second one, what was the second one? Oh yeah, the tank hunt. Yeah, I lost the second one, and I lost the third one, and I've now lost the fourth one, which, well, I'll see if I can redeem myself. And it's more about redeeming the actual errors and not having them. That's more important to me, over winning, and that's why I feel like I need to redo it again. Okay, right, I'll wrap this up, and well, I'll be back soon with some more Soul Mission 4 Partisans, take 2. Okay, cheers.